For today's trail, we started from the exploratory car park and headed down to Megalong Valley Road via Nelly's Glen and straight back up again. You might recognise this trail as the intersection we were at last week. This time we're starting a little bit closer. We're starting at the exploratory car park, which is just up that hill a little bit. But instead of going down that way that we went last week, this week we're now heading down Nelly's Glen. We're going to go all the way to the Megalong Valley Road and then turn around and come back up Nelly's Glen, back up to Explorers Tree to the car. The return is an 8-kilometre section that both the UTA 100k and the UTA Miler both share. Welcome back to the trail. This is part of my build towards the UTA Miler. If you're new here, I'm documenting sections of the UTA Miler course and my training. This will also include parts of the course shared with the 50k and 100k distances in some places. Over the countdown to the race, I'll be training on the course itself, breaking it into sections, learning the trails and all the small details you only notice when you're out there week after week. This isn't about chasing perfect runs, it's about time on feet and building confidence on the course to get through those checkpoints before cut-off. Each run adds another piece to the puzzle. This is my perspective from the back of the pack, where steady progress will hopefully overcome natural ability. For the UTA Miler, this section starts at checkpoint 9 around the 107 kilometre mark and finishes just shy of checkpoint 10 at the Aquatic Centre. The top of Nelly's Glen sits roughly at 115 kilometres and the cut-off at the next checkpoint, which is the Aquatic Centre, is about 2 kilometres further on. 11:50 a.m. Saturday is the cut-off to this checkpoint, which is just under 31 hours from race start. In comparison, for the UTA 100k, this same section looks very different. You hit it from the 6-foot track water point at around 45 kilometres and finish at the top of Nelly's Glen at around 54 kilometres. The cut-off at the Aquatic Centre is 9:35 p.m. Saturday, which is about 14 hours into the race. Still tough, but you're not nearly as broken as you would be in the miler. Okay, so we've made it to the Megalong Valley Road. This is our turnaround point for today. We've started at the exploratory car park. We've come down Nelly's Glen. So this section, I think it's about 8.5 k's, is actually quite downhill. So downhill and flat. It's a lovely run down to here. The hard work starts when we're on our way back. So we've pretty much come from Katoomba all the way down into the Megalong Valley. So now we have to hike all the way back up. So let's get to it. So this climb back up from Megalong Valley is deceptive. It's runnable in parts, but it drains you mentally. And if you're already behind time, this is where your doubt creeps in. So why am I choosing UTA for my third attempt at the miler? My first miler attempt was Tarawera in New Zealand in 2024, where I DNF'd at about 80 kilometres. Part of it was fitness, part of it was logistics. I arrived at the checkpoint with enough time to keep going, but if I didn't make the next checkpoint, that would mean my pacer would have been left alone out at 120 kilometres in the middle of nowhere, with no way to contact him or get him back home. I was close to cut off anyway. I didn't believe I'd make it, and I was okay with pulling the pin there. So my second attempt, after that, a friend asked me if I'd considered the Kosciuszko Miler. Honestly, it wasn't even on my radar. But once I looked into it, I knew I had to finish what I started. That race was brutal. Storms, 2-hour holds, rain all night. I managed to reach my pacer at 90 kilometres, and having someone with me into the night was huge. We hit the Perisher checkpoint, and that's where things started to unravel. I couldn't eat and felt nauseous. We pushed on as the sun came up, around 106 kilometres, 24 hours in, and I started vomiting uncontrollably. I turned to my pacer and I said, I can't go on. We made the call to return to Perisher and withdraw. I'm back at the Nellie's Glen sign. So that little bit of grueling uphill, like that's tough. I think it's tougher than the actual stairs, just where it goes from the open road fire trail into the single trail. It's very grindy uphill up until this sign, and then just past this sign is where we start the stairs. So I'll take you for a walk. So I spent 2025 in reset mode. I decided to go back and try my hand at the UTA 100 again, which was also my third attempt at that distance on the UTA course. This time I finally finished it with 10 minutes before cut off by the skin of my teeth. So why the UTA Miler? Well, this is my 8th race at UTA. As you can see on the screen, I have had quite the love-hate relationship with UTA, but this race is a huge part of my running story. So another reason is that home ground advantage. I live in Sydney and I can train on this course. So knowing the climbs, the descents, where the runnable sections are, I believe that confidence will matter late in this miler. Reason 3 is the atmosphere. There's nothing like the UTA weekend in the Blue Mountains. The crowds, the volunteers, the energy. That atmosphere is what keeps pulling me back. And another reason 4, would be UTMB stones. And I'm collecting my running stones for UTMB, which I'll talk more about in another video. If you're doing the miler in 2026 and this perspective helps you, let me know in the comments. If there is a particular section you are interested in or concerned about and can't get up here to train on the course, let me know and I'll get out there and show you. Or any questions about my training in general, my pace for cut-offs, or anything else you would like to see in these videos, please let me know in the comments. That's another session done and another piece of the UTA Miler course in the legs. Next week, we'll be back on another section of the trail, adding another layer to the journey. See you on the trails.